But now, will they be able to get the uptime they need? Will they be able to stop the drinks is the real test.
I mean, let's see if they can do it right now. Let's see what their targeting is going to be. Facile and Relza in the back line right now. Casta, they're actually going after Tren. So Tren and Baka going to be the main target of choice, and this is what I want to see. I mean, Cassidy, just basically do as much damage as you can, back up your team when you need it. If you can get interrupts on Drainer, great, but don't force it. Don't chase down Drainer, because that's when Facile and Relza find themselves all alone. And I feel like Cassidy, he plays such an important and crucial role on this team to actually keep his team alive and keep the pressure up. So Drainer, it basically cannot go for drinks. Immediately early on, still Baka being trained down. And it seems like it is going to be kind of a repeat strategy of what we saw in the Grand.
Yep, and I really like that because Nagrand was AdHoc's most convincing game. Tren actually in a lot of trouble there. Baka, though, able to back him up with a big heal right there. Baka now actually taking a lot of damage himself. Drainer's going to trade out the Life Cocoon here, so good pressure so far from AdHoc Gaming. Now, in the terms of Creed, they have to shut down these drinks from Relza. Tren actually just leaping across right there to try to shut that down as that beautiful Life Cocoon is going to fade. Drainer actually gets interrupted. Big trouble onto Tren. He's going to trade out the die by the sword right there. So good trade. I think that was the Battle Master as well. I saw Tren's HP spike there, so probably has a little bit of fake HP. Baka, though, taking a decent amount of damage here as well. Drainer getting interrupted. Facile's going to look for the trap. Potentially here, Drainer's going to reposition, try to avoid it. Baka still quite low here. Drainer looking for the Soothing Mist. Able to find it so far. And Tren as well, dropping quite low here. Drainer has a lot of work out of him. There's the stun. There's the full trap. Here's the stun onto Baka. There's the disorienting roar by Cassidy. And it looks like Baka is going to be completely fine here. Actually targeting the pet right now. Just trying to hit whatever he can. And so far, it's looking good for him. I would say for AdHoc, they just have to find drinks. If they can find drinks for Relza, they're going to be in a good situation. And for Creed, well, they have to survive and try to deny those drinks. So they're kind of playing defense. And then as soon as they get a little bit of momentum, they have to try to swing that into something big. Let's see if they can do it, though, Sid.
Relza already sneaking off to the side here to try and sit down. Trent leaps in. Baka trying to use Door of Shadows. Relza got a little bit of mana there, which is better than nothing. Baka, Door of Shadows, they're going to go after the Priest. Nice double leg sweep by Drainer. Relza using that Leap of Faith legendary, though, jumping to Facile, abusing the big distance and open field of this map quite well. Baka and Tren taking some damage as Drainer was interrupted. Tren is vulnerable, no dive with the sword for a couple more seconds. Relza once again, Leap of Faith to Facile across the map. I really like that Facile positions to the opposite side so Relza can use him as a getaway because Relza needs a target to jump to. So really good coordination between Facile and Relza to trade positions. Baka now having to use use Ethereal Form during that crowd control, and Relza sneaks away once again, and he's getting mana behind the pillar. This map is working out quite well for AdHoc. However, they are just tunneling this Priest at the moment. Classic Zug strategy coming out from Tren, but they're getting punished for it. Interrupt onto Drainer. Baka gonna trade it, get the Life Cocoon, pop Ascendance, and get aggressive. Ring of Peace interrupts the Cyclone, trying to power down Relza. They burned through Rapture and the Desperate Prayer. Likely more cooldowns to follow. Is there a Ring of Peace? I don't think so, as it was used earlier to interrupt the Cyclone. Now Relza trying to escape with Door of Shadows, managing to slip away and escape the Enhancement Shaman. He's like, actually, Door of Shadows in aggressively, and I think they overlapped Psychic Scream here with the Freezing Trap, so Relza doesn't have that to escape. He needs someone to jump to right now. He's going to be taking a lot of damage. Facile repositions. There's the jump from Relza. Gets Storm Bolted on it. And Door of Shadows from Baka to reconnect. Beautiful uptime right here between Baka and Tren. Try and punish this Priest mobility. Master's Call comes in. Relza sprinting away with that Hunter Freedom, trying to escape, and it's really about Relza staying away from Baka, but here comes the attack of AdHoc. Freezing Trap has been secured. Adaptive Swarm is up on Baka. He's taking a lot of bleed damage, trading out the Ethereal Form, immune to physical damage, trying to line aside some of the magical damage as well. Popping out for a Tremor Totem, Chain Harvest. Didn't actually recover, though. Drainer is interrupted. Baka is still low on match point. Bestial Wrath is out for Facile, but he gets disarmed by Tren. Nice shutdown by Tren. Cassidy pre-bear form, Barkskin on the Stormbolt. Good trade by Cassidy, trying to stabilize mana for Relza, which is actually surprisingly even.
Yeah, I mean, right now, mana is even. You are right. There's been good pressure out onto Relza, but right now, Creed, they're really struggling to stay on target, forced to kind of go after Cassidy, but this is the position that AdHoc Gaming wants. If you have to go after the Feral Druid, he is such a slippery target. Life Cocoon trades out by Drainer. It seems like almost just using it to avoid dumping out a lot of mana right now in order to keep Baka alive. You can see right now, Creed. They are trying to stay on target, get over to Relza. They do manage to heroic leap on target and avoid Relza from resetting his mana via drinks. But at the same time, in Creed, they are not doing too well. Drainer almost completely tapped on mana for the time being. So just entering, dampening both these healers going to be incredibly stressed. Stun into full fear on Drainer. Immediate Tremor Totem. Oh! Was that a leg sweep from Drainer? That was definitely unfortunate. That 1 minute cooldown leg sweep going to be absolutely whiffed. And now he will not have that for offense or defense. Ad Hoc Gaming doing a good job still. Relza just running. This is what we're talking about. I mean, Relza just constantly crossing the map, making it so difficult for anyone to stay on target. You go after Relza, he's just running away. Cassidy being annoying with Cyclones. You go after Cassidy, he's just kiting around, making it really difficult for you to get uptime. Can't really go after Facile. So I say Ad Hoc Gaming with this strategy, they are looking good to win this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Baka's playing really, really well in that last setup. He was able to ground the trap and tremor that fear. Now he tried to ground this trap as well, but this time he wasn't able to do it. They land the fear. No tremor totem available here this time for Baka as well. Relza now trying to get away from the turbo. This is a risky business going after the healer like this at this point in the game, but Tren and Baka, they're feeling kind of confident. I don't know if Baka should be feeling too confident though. They Stormbolt Tren here. They are going for it. Nice double disorienting roar. Tren is in battle stance right now, just trying to end the match. Relza is completely out of mana. If they can just keep Tren and Baka aggressive here, Drainers might be able to pull it off, but they need to be careful. Baka with the Ascendance right now. Relza teleporting away here with his Leap of Fate legendary. Going to be swapping Pillar as that Battle Master is about to end. And look at the timing of that Master's Call from Facile as Relza is crossing, but Baka is all over him once again, using that Bentley ratio to get back on his target here. There's the nice Light Cocoon. There's the Stormbolt. Big trouble here for Relza. Cassidy getting a couple of heals. There's the Sundering. Cassidy looking for some Cyclones here. He gets one onto Tren, which means that Relza is going to be fine for now. Looking for the Door of Shadows, trying to get some distance between him and Baka, most importantly. But now it's Cassidy actually on the back foot. They're doing such a great job this time around, keeping the pressure alive. But the Drainer's mana is starting to dwindle as well. No Trinket on Drainer. No Trinket on Baka. Full trap secured. He has Ethereal form. Relza's looking for the drink. Tren is all over it though. Baka might need to trade that Ethereal form. He's trading it just to waddle to Relza here, and he gets Cycloned on it. Cassidy, MVP play, throwing out the heals as these teams are battling to the bitter end.
Yeah, tooth and claw right now for Ad Hoc Gaming. Relza's got Earth Elementals chasing him, Spirit Wolves chasing him at times to prevent him from drinking. I really like Baka's management of his pets to keep the priest in combat, but here comes the Mind Games. Big power swing, that's it! Ad Hoc Gaming, take it.
Wow, what a beautiful setup. But this is what I'm talking about. I mean, you can go after Relza, but Cassidy, he was able to punish with beautiful Cyclones, beautiful off heals, and Relza with his kiting. It was just so difficult for Creed to stay on target. And eventually, we see Baka overstay his welcome and get absolutely dropped. Well played there by Ad Hoc Gaming.
It is the very last European series we're going to be seeing today before heading over to North America. It's Skillcapped EU facing off against Cowana Gaming.
What? Interesting. I mean, this is really interesting. Asgrath's going to be playing his Restoration Druid, Frosty on the Shadow Priest, and Maro on the Frost Mage. I feel like the most surprising thing here isn't the Frost Mage, it's actually Cowana Gaming playing the Assassination Rogue Retribution Paladin. And we've seen Kara, I believe, play this composition in the past. Kara taking a huge hit of damage early on. Big Comet Storm coming in from Maro. Absolute devastation. Double Ring of Frost going to be slowing down this initial pressure over onto Frosty, but interesting blind pick compositions from both these teams.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen Tana play a Disc Priest, so it's going to be very interesting to see what this guy is able to do on that class. And so far, I gotta say, it's advantage for Skillcapped here. This is the first time we're going to see that tree or shat tree they call it, this comp, shattered with a tree of life. And we're going to see Kara here taking a lot of damage here, the Frost Mage as well, making its debut here for Maro, doing a decent amount of damage here, playing that big build with the Ice Form. Ice Form recently had some changes, putting it off global cooldown, so a lot of mages opting for that Ice Form with the Rune of Power, and then it places that Rune of Power automatically. And then, of course, you also combo that with the Thermal Void, which extends your Ice Form. You can see Maro here already having that Ice Form basically back off cooldown. It's been doing a great job for him so far. He's got the Frozen Orb as well, dropping it at the pillar, trying to force Kara back out in the open. And once again here, for Skillcapped, they can win the game by swapping to Tana or by taking down one of these DPS. But, Frosty He has to use the dispersion right there. And I mean, I was just about to say for Cowana Gaming, the objective is clear. Kill Frofsy through everything. You have an Asarog, you have a Ret Paladin, do overwhelming amount of damage and take him down. And if they can do that, that's going to be good for them. But right now, it's going to be Kara in trouble here, Sid.
Yeah, nice crowd control here by Skill Capped, and Cowana Gaming are a lot like Reload Esports. They were a team that needs an answer for Shadow Priest Mage, and unlike Reload Esports, they don't have that Shadow Priest Warrior as an option. So what they've brought is Discipline Priest, Ret Paladin, and Assassination Rogue. And I don't think we've seen this comp at all in the AWC. They fished for this Ret Rogue, but it wasn't with a Priest Healer in the past. Bringing in the Priest Healer is a bit interesting. It gives them extra damage. That Dark Archangel adding to the big Venom hits from the Assassination Rogue and the Divine Tolls from the Ret Paladin could make the difference. However, the Priest is also going to run out of mana. So that's going to be the trade-off for Tana, switching from that Restoration Shaman. I think this might even be the first time we've seen Tana play something other than a Shaman. So getting out of his comfort zone against what, in my mind, is the best team at the moment in Europe, Skill Capped. This is a very stressful situation to be in. Look at the pressure right now. Carr is down below half. Nixie's down below half. He's just dying to cleave damage. Nixie has to use Cloak of Shadows. Carr has to use Divine Shield in the same push.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolute devastation. Mar with his ice form, these frost bolts are going to do a lot of damage, but throwing in the polymorphs, just trying to keep Frofsy alive, kind of realizing if they can just avoid the one-shots from Nixie and Kara, they're more than likely going to win this game with crowd control and just overall pressure, but no! He gets absolutely destroyed. That damage was insane. The Dark Archangel, I don't even think was active at that moment, but Cowana Gaming with the surprise composition, the Assassination Rogue, Retribution Paladin. I don't think I've ever seen this played in Shadowlands so far, and I mean, I am very surprised they managed to pick up a win. I mean, obviously a little bit of a blunder there by Skill Cap. It was a lot of damage, but they had a lot of defensive cooldowns to work with, and this really is the day of upsets. I would be willing to... Oh, man. I was actually going to be wrong. I was going to be wrong.
Here we go again.
I was going to be wrong. I really thought Drake was going to come into the Warriors, so I'll admit it. I was going to be wrong with my blind pick prediction, but Spacestation Gaming, they're doing it again. They're bringing in the Windwalker Warrior. Again. Okay, here we go.
Necro Lord Warrior, too.
No, he's not.
I think Smexen was actually the first one we saw bring out the Necrolord, and that was in this comp. We've heard a lot of whispers about the power of the Warrior Windwalker, but we haven't actually seen it yet. It's been a couple of times where it looked like they were trying to go after some of these mages and try to take them down, but we just never really saw the big scary combo. They're going after Seralium right now, and he's just running for his life here. Nice leg sweep onto Brain, connecting onto Chun-Li here as well. Smexen caught up in that beautiful triple, but no damage really to follow it up. Tiki, of course, always going to be something we need to talk about with that mana. Drake here, forced to trade out the Touch of Karma. It's overlapped with the sack there from Brain, so not a bad opener here for Spacestation Gaming, but still, mana is not going to be in their favor most likely in this matchup, and now we have Method NA with an opportunity to strike back.
So Spacestation Gaming were trying to bait cooldowns, but now they're in trouble. If they'd stabilize, they managed to stabilize throughout that crowd control with Chun-Li's Medallion. They're waiting for Avenging Wrath to fall on Brain. Then they're going to pop Swen, and they're going to tear right into Drake and Seralium. So Avenging Wrath is over. Let's see, is Chun-Li going to immediately pull the trigger on this? Maybe waiting for a Dragon's Breath or a Frost Nova. Here comes Storm, Earth, and Fire. Dragon's Breath out of the way. Now is he going to drop the Zwen here or still hold on to it? We see Seralium trying to turtle Soul Shape away, getting bounced right back into the fight. Soul Shape once again to midfield. Disable roots coming in from Drake as well as a grapple weapon, trying to slow down Chun-Li's assault here. Still holding on to the Zwen, perhaps waiting for another moment in the near future. Let's see a protection coming through here, removing the stun, but that's triple crowd control, clean by Method NA. Dragon's Breath on the trinket, nice punish, but Tiki does manage to connect that powered barrier and recover Chun-Li with haste. So good recovery by Spacestation Gaming. Mana at least even still in this regard, but cooldown wise, Method NA are pulling way more heavy swings.
Yeah, Chun-Li right now with the leg sweep. Maybe they could get an ice block. Brain is powering through right now with his Avenging Wrath. Stormbolt comes in from Smexen. Little micro crowd controls coming in. A nice potential fear coming in from Tiki. He manages to find it. Maybe a moment here for Spacestation Gaming to push forward. Can they take down Seralium? A lot of pressure coming in. Doing a good job. There's the Necrolord banner. Spexin going for the shattering throw. Does he find it? Gets grapple weapon. Nice job there by Drake protecting Cerulean. This is a really scary moment with that Necrolord banner, but they managed to defuse it with the Blessing of Protection and the disarm on that shattering throw. Well done.
Yeah, and Smexen right now, the man on your screen, caught up in crowd control. Here we go, triple CC, this is clean! Big damage of Chun-Li, he's in touch of depth range almost here. Tiki connect the pain suppression. If they had anything of that paralyzed, it probably would have been the game, but still, they hit the counter spell here onto Tiki, gets caught up in the DR sheet. Smexen, what are you gonna do here to protect Chun-Li? He got away on 1%. Touch of Karma gets cracked through, and Chun-Li goes down behind the pillar right there, gets sniped. What a nice aggressive push there from Method NA. They're going to lead with their Windwalker Mage, and they're going to take Space Station Gaming here in game number 1.
Okay, well, here we go. Let's see what they decide to do. I feel like I really think for Space Station Gaming, what they want to do is just outman a Brain. So their win condition, maybe they can get a kind of a miracle one-shot. I think it's incredibly unlikely. They want to play the long game. They want to try to get them out of mana. Chun-Li going to be taking a little bit of damage early on. Cerulean basically doing whatever he wants over here. Finally, Smexen can shut him down, but that Polymorph on Tiki is going to force out the Rapture Shields, as well as the Trinket Rallying Cry from Smexen. So already missing a little bit of that defense. Now just trying to spin and stay on target. Fortunately, no dispels on that Blessing of Freedom, and a beautiful altar time by Cerulean frees him and allows him to cross the map. But now Chun-Li getting really aggressive, punishing Cerulean for going behind the pillar. They managed to get the Trinket, the Everyman for himself from Cerulean. And now Cerulean's going to be heavily pressured, just using Soul Shape, using that mobility to try to get away. Big Fist of Fury snares coming in from Drake as well, but he gets swapped too. This is what we're talking about. The Windwalker Monk Arms Warrior, their main strength is just how much damage they do. So just put out the damage, put out the pressure, try to get Brain out of mana. And if they can do that for long enough and survive, they might be able to win.
Yeah, let's see. Right now, Smexen is the one taking fire, but Cerulean also taking a big hit there. Brain.
Whoa!
Whoa! Okay, Cerulean's on fire right there. Brain actually trading out the Blessing of Protection there as well. So Cerulean, next time he gets stunned, he's going to have another Blessing of Protection in Brain's back pocket. Oh, gets caught up behind the pillar, almost goes down there to Drake. And now Drake getting swapped through here as well, trading out his Touch of Karma. Chun so close there as well to dying, but doesn't actually have to use any of his cooldowns. Mana so far in favor of Method and Ace, ever so slightly. Here comes the Dark Archangel. There's the full stun of the Cerulean. This was going to be the big one. They don't have the Blessing of Protection. Oh, they go after Drake! This is exactly what we talked about in the pregame. We want to see them go after Drake, but they only went after Drake there because they couldn't reach Cerulean. Cerulean is still the main target. I would just love to see them go after Drake the whole game. I think Drake would be so bullied. He can't do anything here, but we'll see if this mage race ends up working for Space Station Gaming. Right now, it's anybody's game.
Chun portals out of the fight. Drake Fist of Fury on 2 targets, portaling away from Chun-Li now. Not wanting to overextend. Mana slightly in favor of Method NA, but it's closing fast. Chun-Li, Smexen staying on target. Cerulean really feeling the pain here. No Cauterize to fall back on. Blessing of Protection comes through from Brain. Another cooldown out of the pocket of Method NA. Space Station Gaming look a lot better here in game number 2 in terms of offense, but here comes a leg sweep out from Drake. They're going after the Priest, trying to pressure down Tiki. Smexen intervening over with pain suppression. Tiki's going to just walk it off with a Radiance, but Radiance is pretty expensive for a heal, and that could cost him the rest of his mana. He's pushing forward for potentially some crowd control, not opting to go for it here onto Brain, now just pulling back to the pillar. Drake is just soloing Tiki, not wanting to stack up and get cleaved down by the Warrior Windwalker, I would imagine here. Brain in a paralyze, and we see Zwen out for Chun-Li, trying to stay on Cerulean. Catching him in a stun. This is a block. I feel like there's no way. Cerulean going to ice block. Not enough mana to mass Dispel. Brain gets swapped to. An interesting swap here from Space Station Gaming, really mixing it up, but now Hammers down, no Trinkets. Tiki actually with Trinket just in time. Ring of Peace. Is there a Ring of Peace here for Drake to knock Chun out of the barrier? It doesn't look like it. And that barrier is holding him, but really only holding him together, not allowing him to recover. Now trading Karma out as well. This could just be it for Chun. This is the Storm Earth and Fire of Drake. This is Zwen from Drake. Big damage and no mana left. Rapture comes out from Tiki, but now into a Polymorph. Managing to premonition it. Now into another crowd control. That leg sweep so punishing. Huge rally fall. Triple kill maybe. Big heals coming in, but not stabilizing Chun-Li, and he's burned all of his defensives.
Yeah, there's really nothing left. Chun-Li's going to have to do a really good job keeping himself alive, but Drake is all over him. both Fists of Fury right now, pairing each other's damage. Chun-Li gets topped off. Tiki basically no mana left whatsoever. There's a paralyzed. Chun-Li still on the run. This is danger time for Chun-Li. He's just full-on evasive maneuvers right now, trying to get away. But if Drake gets there, does he have the leg sweep? Still not available for quite some time. Chun-Li just trying to buy a little bit more time for his defensive cooldowns. Smexon's going to have to play defense. Here's the Dark Archangel. Big damage on Drake. They're looking to strike back. Sacrifice trades from Brain with the Divine Shield. Big defensive cooldowns forced out. A nice push there by Spacestation Gaming. What a close game, but still Chun-Li is in so much trouble. There's no portal. There's no way to really get away. He uses Sigur's Lust. He's doing everything he can. Paralyzed on his Fist of Fury. Full Ring of Frost. Chun-Li is going to get dropped. Despite his best efforts, Method NA, really close game, but they put the second point on the board, and now they're one away from closing out this series.
Honestly, that setup there at the end was so nice with Ceralium getting that Ring of Frost right at the end of the Hammer of Justice. He got the Polymorph onto Smexon, and then Drake just got the Paralyze onto Chun, then comboed it with the Fist of Fury as well for that slow, allows the Meteor to connect there from Ceralium, and it just allows a clean 3 versus 1 situation where you don't necessarily have the stun to lock down your target, but you manage to get everybody to connect anyway and get that kill. That was really beautiful by Method NA, and a well-deserved victory, honestly. That looked really, really tough for them to win.
Team that's
There it is!
And I got it right! I got it right!
Unbelievable.
Stop. These are
okay. Yeah, you make fun of my predictions again. None of you would have called this.
I said about who won. I didn't say about the comp. I said about who won.
Thank you.
I don't believe in the comp.
You are about
We'll
to be a believer, I guess. Jellybeans is going to convert all of us to the Beastmaster, he said.
You didn't have to convert me. All right, let's see how this one starts. Whiskey, Jellybeans going aggressive here on Aang. They're going to have a lot of offensive dispels. Aang's going to have a difficult time actually kiting and getting away. Nick getting rotted down as well. A lot of spread pressure coming in. Will be the Avenging Wrath from Corlick to empower his heals. And I'm curious to see how exactly this composition is going to play out. Big intimidating shout coming in into a full polymorph, but Jellybean's just out of line of sight and going for a Devil's Dragon's Breath. Who are they going to be going after here? Jellybean's just kiting. Aang's just constantly under fire in this matchup so far. Golden Guardians is looking good.
Yeah, it's looking good so far for them. They got a good opener here. I think Whiskey looks like the target of choice here. Nick's finally going to be connected to him. Aang doing what he can here to do some damage. Actually pops his Rune of Power, but then he had to Nova the Pats. Here comes the preemptive Blessing of Protection. Oh, it gets dispelled right away. What a beautiful dispel there from Whiskey. Then Aang is going to be in a lot of trouble here behind the pillar. He gets Psychic Horror into the Shadow Crash. Big damage onto Aang, but Corlick is there to back him up. He's able to survive that freezing trap. Here comes, oh, nice Purge Wind Shear by Hamsters on that Divine Favor of Corlick. Which means he's not going to get that hit. Here's the Silence. Aang actually taking a lot of damage to it. Cauterize. Can they get the Ice Block is the question. There's
That's a block.
That's got to be a block 100%, no? No, he's still playing it greedy, able to keep himself alive for now. But there's a full freezing trap. Can they get the damage here? Jellybean's trying to do it. Can he do it? Kill shot range, big damage, and that's going to be the Ice Block. I can't believe this, but Shadow Priest Hunter is in a massive
spell.
Massive
spell.
Is he just dead?
Is he just a seed?
He's a seed!
Oh, they're gonna kill the seed! Oh, they get. Oh. That was not even close. That was not even close. They made them look like training dummies. That was not even close. Did they even do damage to the Golden Guardians? I don't think Aang can even believe what just happened. Aang is just like, what?
There's something really crazy about Jellybeans, though. I just want to say this. Jellybeans, even though you look at these stats and it looks like, okay, this guy's a giant noob, he is so well respected. I don't mean that in like a bad way. No, when you look at the stats, it looks like, oh, he just plays and loses.
Purely from a,
or if you look at his rating, a lot of the time he just plays at lower ratings. He doesn't even care about getting rank 1, but still, despite that, you know, everyone considers him like pretty much the best hunter in North America, or one of the best hunters. I mean, he is just absolutely phenomenal. And even though the results don't always show it, When Hunters are good, he makes them look really good, and I feel like Golden Guardians, this is their opportunity to shine. Interesting adaptation here from Charlotte Phoenix. They're going to be bringing in Nick on the Assassination Rogue. Big combustion right away, but the Roar of Sacrifice completely shuts that down. This is a better start, though, for the Charlotte Phoenix.
Yeah, I like bringing in the Rogue here, so they can go after the Hunter if they want to, or they can just try to ride Whiskey on that Shadow Priest. And honestly, I think the Golden Guardians here, they're pretty comfortable with that situation, with Whiskey being that target. Look at Ang right now. He's getting absolutely blasted here. Corlick getting a sacrifice, though, before that freezing trap lands is going to mean that he gets to hold on to his Gladiator's Medallion, that trinket, for that next freezing trap. So he's going to be in a good spot. Absturge, preemptive, Earthen Wall Totem, big damage here coming out from Nick with that Vendetta rolling, but Ang also taking a lot of damage. Look at Jellybeans with the Door of Shadows, looking for the freezing trap at the back end of it. He waits a little bit though, because Nick is there. Ang activates it all the time, gets dropped back though. He's taking a lot of damage here, might actually proc the cauterize. Freezing trap ends onto Corlick. They don't have a silence or anything like that. Whiskey now in a smoke bomb situation here. Big damage onto him. He's going to get absolutely gets caught in the Dragon's Breath. Can he get the Ring of Frost? He gets interrupted on it. Nicely done there by Whiskey. And now once again, Absturge here should be able to pick up his Shadow Priest. Should be able to line of sight some of these polymorphs. And here we go. Freezing trap, silence, big damage. Lava Burst from Absturge as well. Kick onto Ring of Frost. He can't access his Ice Block there. Very close call here for Ang, and he's just getting pressured so much. Just swapping over to Nick now, almost taking him down there as well. Jellybean's just sitting in a polymorph, killing their whole team with his pats. Swapping back to Ang here. Could be the cauterize still. Corlick, no wings available, having so much trouble trying to keep these guys alive.
Oh, full freezing trap. That's a cauterize. That's a block. Is there a Master Spell? Master Spell fake out by Whiskey. Gets kicked by Nick. And they're just praying that Corlick can save him. But a rocket jump fear. Master Spell attempt number 2 gets kidney shot. They're pressuring Nick now. And going to pop that blazing barrier. Try and tank up and absorb some hits here. Corlick has a blessing of protection. They've got combustion. They could make a big move here if Whiskey gets interrupted. Ang is just taking so much damage from Jellybeans. Jellybeans is on a mission to put some wins on the board for the Golden Guardians here. Corlick has to Divine Shield. Whiskey now being pressured though, interrupted for a second. Will he trade Dispersion? He trades it, but it's prior to the Vendetta. That's a big opening for Nick here. He could definitely kill the Shadow Priest with Vendetta. Double stun lock here by the Charlotte Phoenix. They're still fighting back. Double blinding light. Jellybeans is going to trinket out and get aggressive, securing the freezing trap onto the Paladin, preventing all of the heals. Silence on Ang, trying to power down the Mage, and he's just doing so much damage. Stun on the Corlick. They have a Psychic Scream, anything a silence. They just need a little bit more. Blessing of Protection is up, but it's probably purged off instantly between Whiskey and Absturge, and it is. Blessing of Protection is now over. Jellybeans is still tearing in. His damage is endless on this Beast Mastery Hunter. The anti-mage Golden Guardians trying to set up for the win, but here comes Vendetta. Whiskey's got Fade in 1 second. Fading on 10%. He needs a Spirit Link Totem. He needs it now. Where's the Spirit Link Totem? They're holding on to it. Greedy play, but they're going to get away with it now. A full Psychic Scream likely out of the Psychic Horde. That's going to be it. They're going to proc the Seed. He's solo. No, the Sacrifice. The Sacrifice comes off cooldown for Corlick. Last second saves on both sides.
Yeah, Whiskey trying to get away. He's actually just playing on top of Absturge right now. Absturge has his Spirit Link, but without his trinket,
shot.
He needs to make sure he maybe preemptively uses it. He needs to really do a good job of avoiding the crowd control. We need the Spirit Link Totem. They drop it. Golden Guardians hold on. Now they need to look to strike back here. They need more pressure onto Ang. A full polymorph lands. Whiskey gets interrupted. He's in a lot of trouble. Shadowman's come in. He keeps himself alive for the time being. Absturge, of course, he does have his trinket. Ascendant's almost available as well. And once that Dispersion's available, I think Whiskey is going to be feeling very confident to make a push. Jellybean's looking to set up his team with a full trap on Corlick. Ang, no cauterize. There's no ice block. There's no defensive cooldown. And they might just proc him. They seed him. Can they drop it? I think that they will, more than likely. And Golden Guardians, with their Shadow Priest, BM Hunter, Shaman, win game number 2. And they're looking good. However, Charlotte Phoenix is a lot better in that one. That was definitely not as comfortable as playing against the Warrior. I need to clarify my position too. When I wasn't saying Jellybeans is a noob. I was saying if you look at his stats, they aren't good. That's a fact. And also, he normally doesn't care about his rating. But despite all of that, despite his stats not being good, despite the fact that he doesn't care about always pushing rank 1, I think he's one of the most respected players in North America for his ability. So that was my point. And I mean, Jellybean's definitely stepping up for his team. It's so nice to see them actually play this composition and find success with it. They could try, but I feel like CMD is going to be really scared with a Serenity Windwalker Monk and Unholy Death Knight just kind of training him down if he is left alone. So Aiden's going to be moving forward. He gets to sap onto Trill. Let's see how they decide to open up. Dragon's Breath into a potential polymorph. DR Fear coming in onto Sea-Doo, but there's no crowd control. It looks like the polymorph will finally land. Nicely done there by CMD, but a grapple weapon on Aiden and a stun on CMD. Totally shuts down this opener. Great start here for OTK, but they're getting the pressure reversed. Trill's in some trouble. Kidney Shot comes in. It's an immediate anti-magic zone in response to the combustion, but Vendetta was not used by Aiden. He still has all his defensive cooldowns. Trill could be in some trouble.
Yeah, definitely. A fair trade, though, the anti-magic zone for the combustion. Now let's see what OTK can get when they are the ones being aggressive. CMD here trying to get some distance. Polymorphs up Maz. Aiden looking for a blind here, potentially onto Sea-Doo. You're going to see potentially that starting off the next CC chain. There's the blind. Sea-Doo uses the Blessing of Protection to remove it. And Trill now in a full Kidney Shot, taking a lot of damage here. Trill dropping dangerously low, trading out the Touch of Karma there onto CMD. And there's the Asphyxiate stun now onto CMD. Trill and Maz trying to get aggressive back onto CMD. Oxygen in a full blinding light. There's the Fist of Fury. Here comes the damage. That's an alter time. That's a big alter time for CMD, and he's going to be able to recover full HP right there. Nice Fear coming out now from Oxygen. Kidney Shot onto Trill with the Serenity Act. There's a smoke bomb by Aiden. A little bit delayed. Full Sheep here onto Sea-Doo. Trill now in a Sheep Shot. The Road Silence comes out. Sea-Doo trinkets and trades out the Blessing of Protection there, but he's going to be stuck in half poly. There's the Sacrifice now as well. He gets mind controlled on it. I don't know how he's going to survive this one, Sid.
I mean, it could just be over. Divine Shield's ending. They managed to recover the Desperate. They're going after Oxygen. It looked like hitting him at least a little. Mind control now on Sea-Doo. They're going to grip it, interrupt it, and buy time. There's no cooldowns. Trill is stunned up. They're trying to sit through this and hold on with nothing, but they're just getting powered
so
down.
much trouble.
Portals back to Sea-Doo. Isn't going to be able to stay alive here. He's next to his healer, but Aiden's moving in. Double leg sweep. Beautiful punish by Trill. Trying to take out CMD on his own combustion, but he's stabilizing with the Blazing Barrier. Triple Dragon's Breath. Polymorph attempt by CMD. Not finding it. Ring of Peace pins CMD against the wall. Beautiful Ring of Peace. Nice turnaround, but big heals come in from Oxygen, managing to recover throughout that attack, and a polymorph has landed. Trill's on the run. He is downtown trying to get away from Aiden. Aiden chasing after him. Oxygen stuns him on his heel, powering to Mind Games. Huge connect. Unitas, are they going to push to match point? They are. Unitas take OTK to match point.
Unbelievable, quite honestly. I mean, Unitas, they did such a good job in this game, just putting on the pressure to Trill. He was so close to getting his Transcendence as well as that Touch of Karma off of cooldown, but unfortunately he got caught away. Great pressure there by Oxygen. We're going to see it in the replay. He managed to shut down some of those heals with the stun of his own and really keep that pressure rolling. So interesting adaptation here by Trill. He actually is playing Necrolord now, so going to have that frictionless coating, a very popular do a shield every single time. Well, not every single time, but pretty much every single time you dip low on health, and that's going to help him survive on stuns. I'm wondering if they decided to go Horde as well, and it looks like he is playing an Orc. So he's an Orc. He's going to have that reduction in stuns, which is going to be really, really nice. And then in addition to that, he also now has that frictionless coating. So a little bit more durability, tanking up for this game number 3. A great start. Big damage on CMD. A massive explosion of damage, but Oxygen holds on. They all get gripped in. It's not over yet. This could potentially be the ice block. Where is this pressure coming from? Immediate ice block from Unitas. OTK off to a fiery start.
Yeah, very, very nice start here for OTK. Getting the biggest cooldown, but it wasn't overlap with the Cauterize. That was also the Guardian Angel here from Oxygen. So definitely getting a lot of cooldowns here. Oxygen is pushing in for a Fear. He gets it while he gets gripped there. Aiden now is going to connect onto Trill with the Kidney Shot. Do they have any more CC? There's a smoke from Aiden. And there's the Shadowy Duel, I believe. No Shadowy Duel, just the mirror image into a Sheep Shot there onto Sea-Doo. The Road Silence coming out as well. Unfortunately for Aiden, that sap right there was on diminishing returns from the Chastise of the Holy Priest. So unfortunately for them, I'm not sure if that's intended or not to play the Chastise, but in the previous match we saw Oxygen actually play the Chastise stun, so he's not going to have that on access. Instead, he's going to have to be the polymorph of the team. He's going to go for Chastise Fears. He gets another one right here, trailing a lot of trouble, preemptive Touch of Karma. There is the anti-magic zone as well, trading out for the Vendetta as well as the combustion of CMD. So far OTK trading effectively, and they're looking good offensively here.
Oh, Aiden trying to go after Trill here on match point. OTK really can't afford to lose this series. They're on match point right now, getting stressed to the limit on 1%. Sea-Doo makes the ultimate sacrifice. redirecting damage from Trill to himself just in time to stay alive, but it is looking dicey. Sea-Doo is rotted down to that redirected damage. At the same time, pressure coming out from Mez and Trill, desperately trying to power through and move to a game number 5. Can Sea-Doo recover? He's not getting lucky. His awakening is not proccing. He has to manually flash of light, try and get back up to full. He's caught in a blind with no trinket. He's going to divine shield. Where's the bop? Are they going to trade a bop here? Trill's in so much trouble. It's on match point. He's going to portal back behind the pillar. Sea-Doo's still not getting lucky. Never lucky with these awakening procs. He can't get any instant healing without Avenging Wrath, but manages to at least recover. Now we can see Zwen available, but cheap shot on Sea-Doo. Mind games, big power play onto Trill still. The damage is endless, and Sea-Doo is just never lucky, man, right now. Chastise on Sea-Doo. Trill is on the run once again. Still not proccing it on that Word of Glory. I'm wondering if he's even playing it. Mez anti-magic shields aggressively. Mez is trying to hard carry the game right now for his team. Potentially burn down the rest of Oxygen's mana. Trill charges in defiance, but Karma's not up for a couple seconds. Maybe they're setting up on Sea-Doo. No trinket, no divine shield. If they get CMD over here, he's easily going to die. They're setting up on Sea-Doo. They bop it out. Where's the spell steal? Spell steal off. Cheap shot follow-up. 2 versus 1 behind the pillar. Trill and Mez dogpiling back to assist Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo holding on by a thread here. No, he still hasn't gotten Awakening proc off of Word of Glory at this point. He's struggling. He stuns up Aiden in desperation. They're powering down CMD. CMD is trying to escape. They're slaughtering him. They proc the cauterize. He's on the run. Oxygen gets in line of sight and recovers. OTK are battling to their final breath.
They really are. They're going after Sea-Doo. Big mind games. CMD's not even there. Can they drop him? Anti-magic zone drops, but that means the next time CMD has combustion, if they can make it to that point, there's really going to be no defense. CMD's in so much trouble. Aiden is just all over him right now. Finally, Sea-Doo is able to top himself off. OTK, they need to get aggressive once again. They've kind of abandoned the push here onto Trill, and it looks like Trill will be able to punish. CMD, no ice block for another 27 seconds. Can they hold on? Oxygen has basically been completely burned out of gas at this point. He has no mana left. CMD getting increasingly low. There's no cauterize. There's no ice block. Oxygen doesn't have the heals. How is CMD going to survive? He's trying. He finally gets a big heal, as well as that triune barrier. That's more than enough defense to hold him on till ice block. Really? He's going to drop.
5 seconds. 4 seconds. He's seeded.
7 seconds on ice block. They get the seed, and Trill.
The blind. The fear in the blind.
CMD might live. No, it's cracked, and OTK, they tie this series up. CMD cannot believe it. Get 4 seconds on the ice block when they seeded him. What a close game that was. Well played by both these teams.
Ironbark and with his nature swiftness.
Oh god, this is going to be such a stressful position for Ad Hoc Gaming. They're just getting poked down at the pillar. They're poking for a mind games, but they're getting AoE'd out. Cassidy pops Survival Instincts. This is the time to use your defense. Just trade it out and get aggressive. You got nothing left. You have to make a push at this point. Commit everything you've got and try and go for it. Silence on the Mind Blast. Relza could just die to dots. Cassidy's trying to push through the pain, interrupting the healer, trying to take down Frosty. Frosty disperses, denying the kill. Cassidy's now stuck in midfield, trying to Fleshcraft tank out his opponent. That Fleshcraft is getting huge value. Big trade. They're going after Frosty. Askerath trinkets. Do they have anything for Askerath? They can kill Frosty. Literally anything on Askerath. Frosty goes down. They don't even need anything. A full fear. They've pulled it. Oh, it's not over yet. Relza in a full sheep. Cassidy goes down. 2v2, but out of mana Discipline Priest. I feel like BM Hunter, if the Priest had any mana, is actually going to be a better option. I mean, BM Hunter owns 2v2.
Hunter is really, really good in the situation. The problem is Relza has no mana. We'll see. I mean, Cassidy said a little bit of a prayer, going for a drink right now, just watching his team kind of go for it. This is kind of a nightmare. I feel like this is really, really difficult for Maro, Facile with the pets. Relza potentially even going for a drink. If he resets his mana, I feel like this game, it could just be over. However, I mean, Facile, he's got no aspect of the turtle. He's got no exhilaration for quite some time, but the consistent damage of those pets is really going to start adding up. And I feel like Ad Hoc Gaming, they might have this one. They might be able to do it on their worst map, I would say, into skill capped, besides Empyrean Domain, Sid, yes. But yeah, they might be able to actually pull this off, which is huge for them in this series.
Oh, I can't believe it. Maru has still.
It's over.
An ice block right now. Maru, if he cold snaps and ice blocks, he wastes.
He's rezzing!
No way! Oh, Asgraf sees it. Look at Cassidy. He can't believe it. It was so close to get that res. But Mario now is going to have 2 ice blocks to work with. But he might just have to use it right away. Facil's
Just go for res again.
He has the beast within ready. He just needs to push it. He presses it. Mario's going to have to use ice block. Mario trades the ice block. Asgraf trying to trade it for a drink. Facil's all over him though. He finds the flare this time around. Asgraf gets 0 mana. What is Relza doing? He sat down there. He recovered just the tiniest sliver of mana. And he has pain suppression. I think Ad Hoc Gaming are going to do it. Mario casting Frostbolts. Well, there's pets in the game, Mario, and you're just a Frost Mage. I don't think those Frostbolts are going to be doing what you want them to. Mario just trying to kite the pets right now, dragging out the Blizzard, trying to reset the Frozen Orb, trying to reset his Ice Horn, but he might just be forced into another Ice Block here. Takes a big hit of damage right there, trying to go blow for blow against Facile, but Relza trades out the pain
he fakes it!
The full shape. Mario with the alter time here, trying to make the hero
Turtle.
gets another sheep. There's no mana left on Asgraf. He's going for a Cyclone on the pet. He gets stunned on it. Mario on 1%, forcing to the ice block. Facile on 1% HP. Who's gonna die first, Sid?
Who is going to die first here? Indeed, Relza's still cycling. Asgraf's moving in to kill Facile. Facile aspects of the turtle preemptively on a stun. Buying time for Relza. Fleshcraft on the freezing trap. Nice play by Asgrath. If he can get a Cyclone here, go for damage. A Cyclone Facile at low health. Buying time for diminishing returns to switch them over to Relza. Maro blinks for the Polymorph. And Relza has to trinket, but Facile is getting blasted down by Maro. Disengaging around the corner, trying to stay alive. But now Relza in a full Cyclone, putting a slow trap on the left side. Line of sighting Maro here. Going into Camouflage. He can heal in Camouflage. He's going to get a massive heal. Relza's got Desperate Prayer rolling in a second to try and stabilize, but Facile's so low. He feigned death on 1%. He interrupts Maro, but Asgarath is killing him outright right now. Mind Game's attempt gets interrupted. Relza's got nothing. Rapture Power and Shield, but a full Polymorph. Facile's at 1%. Both players can die. If Relza plays this out, he's in a Cyclone now, and I think you have to tap out at that point. I mean, maybe it's really unlikely. Relza's going to try and penance Maro, maybe for the kill. We're at almost 80% dampening. He needs to Door of Shadows over. He needs to get in line of sight of Maro. I mean, Asgrath gets Innervate. He's going to Innervate, and he's going to get heals. And I think with the Innervate, Maro's not going to end up dying. Relza's still trying to battle it out. I actually can't believe that they pulled this off. I thought for sure the BM Hunter was going to take this. Relza's trying his hardest, just getting any sips of little drinks and mana, and I almost wonder if he barriered instead of Rapture, if he would have lived, because Rapture was just nerfed by dampening so much, whereas the barrier would have gotten full value. It was so close. It might not have mattered at that point. It was kind of unbelievable that Skillcap pulled this off.
I 1v1.
Yeah, I think the one crucial moment in that 2 versus 2, the big mistake Facile did, they had got Maro's second ice block, and Facile decided that he wanted to, actually it might have been his first ice block, but he decided he wanted to shut down the drink, and he crossed the entire map using all his mobility, and he just ended up getting rake stunned, and that's when the priest and the hunter got completely split up. I feel like that was the one major error, where if they had just played back, kind of realized at that point it doesn't really matter how much mana Asgarath has with dampening to 80+%, as long as they don't allow Maro to push in, get pressure, get crowd control, that's going to win them the game. So unfortunate, but Skillcap, they're going to be happy that they were able to come back in that one.
Shane with the Bark Skin. Now they're trying to push Prophecy over. Can they do it? Couple of seconds left here until Asgarath
so close.
Any big heals here. I don't know if Prophecy is actually going to be able to survive. The only thing that can keep him alive, I think, is pressure. Maro needs to land the Polymorph. He takes the Shadow Word Death. He connects with the full shape. There's the stun onto Cassidy.
That's it.
Big damage onto Cassidy. He needs to duck for cover. And even if you don't kill him here, it's not going to be a great situation. But I do think he's going to go down. He gets counterspelled. Maro blinks.
Prophecy? It's a full trap.
Oh,
it's a full trap!
No,
it's a full trap!
Not again!
Not again, dude.
Okay, well, Facile and Relza, they get the rematch, 57% dampening. Relza going to be going for a drink. This is absolutely insane. I mean, Facile right now trying to slow down the drinking. He's pushing for it, maybe finding a trap. It's so close!
Facile dead?
Actually getting the stun. Facile could just die. He's got the aspect of the turtle. Relza, he doesn't have Trinket, but he's got the Rapture, so big shields if he needs it. Facile can just hide behind the pillar, try to line of sight right now. A little bit of trouble, though. The trap does land. Nice trap there by Facile. He needs to slow down damage until Relza can get in line of sight of Facile, finally gripping him to safety. If he can top him off, that's going to be best-case scenario for Relza. He needs to land some heals. Gets interrupted on the Shadow Man. Nicely done there by Maro. Potential Ring of Frost drops out of the bash. It looks like Polymorph will land on diminishing return. Maro going for a reset on a shifting power. Facile just flailing to stay alive. And look at Cassidy. This is such a high pressure moment for him, just watching his team try to stay alive. If Skillcap to win this, Ad Hoc Gaming loses the series.
Yeah, we're going to see if they can do it here. Facile definitely wants his revenge here. Askarov sitting down for a drink here once again. What is Facile going to do? Is he going to go after Morrow here? Is he going to try to stop it? He gets the flare. He connects with the flare. He stops. Askarov does get a tick or two there. Relza now sitting down for a drink as well. And I really think this is the main story of the game. Just to try to keep the pressure up. Try to stop the drinks as much as possible. And just do as much damage as you can to Morrow with your pets. Don't ever actually poke out into his line of sight and let him cast frostbolts on you. Just line of sight him and let your pets do the heavy lifting. Even if they get Ring of Frost, even if they get the crowd control, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that Askarov isn't drinking and that you're not taking damage from Frostbolt. And if you do that, I think Facile and Relza could win this one. They still have a mana advantage here on the side of skill cap. And I mean, make no mistake, these are incredible players on both teams here. So this could still be anybody's game. Morrow right now just going after Relza, actually cleaving them both down here. Beautiful damage from Morrow, and Relza has no mana really to keep anybody alive, and let alone himself. And now Askarov sitting down for a drink, definitely getting a big lead here. Relza now trying to get aggressive. Let's see if this drink is going to pay off. Askarov actually not able to get that much mana. Facile now activating his Bestial Wrath, getting aggressive once again onto Morrow. And if he can stop Askarov from drinking just with his damage, I think that's the ideal situation. Nice Intim stun here on the Innervate, followed by a Freezing Trap. That's got to be the Ice Book of Morrow coming up shortly.
Right here, full fear. There's no way, right? He's trying to hold on to it. Ice blocking at 20%. There's no way they master the spell. Relza needs to try and drink. Morrow cancels it to go for the kill. Facile tries to go for a Scare Beast on Askarov's travel form, but doesn't find it. He's still in hypothermia. Big damage on Morrow. Race to the finish here on match point. Is he going to close it out? He does. Facile netting the kill. Askarov cannot save him, and we're going to game 5. And this is a claw biter. Ad Hoc Gaming. Unbelievable.
Wow.
You guys see Cassidy smiling at camera at the end there.
I did. He was so excited his team got revenge on Hook Point. But let's see what Skill Cap can get done, because they're going to have to shift gears as well. Keep that in mind. Morrow going from Frost to Fire, and Asgrath going from Druid to Paladin. They have to change their mindset and their playstyle in a matchup like this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here what they end up doing, what the strategy is. This Warrior Mage Paladin, definitely not something that we expected. And judging by the player cam as well of Cassidy, he was definitely... First, it was like a little bit shocked, but then he started like smiling and laughing a little bit. So I don't know, he looked somewhat confident. We'll see what they can do here, what the target of choice is going to be right now. Relza is looking quite juicy. They're going after Blizzo here. They're going to be rake stunning him up, getting full bleeds onto Blizzo. No traps being committed just yet. Relza now caught up in a Hammer of Justice. Potential for a Blinding Light here. Mar gets kicked on the sheep. Oh, nice stun there to shut down the Blinding Light. Here comes the counter setup. Relza getting counter spell. There's a double fear from Relza, and they land a trap as well. Morrow with an excellent alter time though. Looks like he's going to be able to survive here. Relza unfortunately was caught up in that fear, and now he has no Shadow Word Depth. Nice kick there by Cassidy, shutting down that bottom of them onto Relza. I don't know if he has a Shadow Word Depth just yet. Again, it looks like Morrow's trying to fake it, but I don't know if he actually had it. Now he does fake it. Full sheep secured. Who are they going to go after here? Morrow gets a Ring of Frost as well. On the pets, he's going for the resheep, he gets interrupted. There's the Blinding Light. They're going after Facile. Blizzo is here on the Warrior doing a lot of work, but I don't think Facile is going to be in too much trouble. No,
okay.
He has to trade the Exil heal as well as his Aspect of Eternal, so beautiful opener so far for Skillcat.
Let's see if they can keep this up. It is still Blizzo on the Arms Warrior to take into account on the side of Skill Cap. They've got the most important cooldowns out of the way here from Facile. If they can maintain uptime, they've got a full Storm Bolt. This is devastating. Relza has to trinket and trade out the Rapture despite the stun lock on Morrow. Now another very important cooldown out of the way for Skill Capped here. However, they're swapping to the Warrior. Interesting tactic. Freezing Trap on Askarath, trying to pressure down Blizzo. Die by the sword. They managed to force out. Maybe they can get a Rallying Cry with a couple more points of damage. They don't have it. And he will begin to recover with that save by the Light proc. Now getting on to Cassidy, not able to connect to Facile, still just trying to max out damage. Cassidy needs to be careful about getting stunned behind the pillar here. He's going to pull in line of sight of Relza. Relza's trying to avoid Morrow, but here comes another Storm Bolt. Every Storm Bolt on Facile could be death. Relza's just trucking up big Shadow Men's, dropping the barrier and trying to recover, but this wasn't the Avatar. Blizzo baits out the barrier, and now they have Avatar. Now they have Combustion. I think it's just a free win at this point. You just fear Relza, you stun Facile, and it's game over at that point. Just trade cooldown, stay aggressive. Here comes the Avatar. Blizzo is lining up. Asgrath is trapped, though. He's going to trinket out and recover. There's the fear on Relza. Where's the stun on Facile? They just need any stun on Facile. He's just running circles right now and avoiding the fight while Relza was feared. There's the Hammer of Justice. Now where's the Combust? Are they going to hold on to it? They don't want to get that Roar of Sacrifice. They managed to survive the Hammer of Justice for now, but there's still a Polymorph for a couple of seconds. Facile is on the run, trying to get away from Blizzo. Relza repositions. They don't net the kill. Ad Hoc Gaming get the trinket out of Asgrath, but there's still a lot of cooldowns to get through on their side. Relza's mana not in a great position. Facile just getting trucked still by Blizzo. Cassidy can't really help him out too much. Pummeled on his Cyclone. Trying to help out. Blizzo leaps in with a sharpened blade, reducing a ton of heals. Facile disengages, gets charged on his disengage. Blizzo is getting really good uptime. Tons of polymorphs. Facile's just going to die. There's no defense left. They collapse him, and then suddenly out of nowhere, they're making me think, why didn't they just play this the entire series instead of what they just did for 4 games? Because that looked easy, but okay, I guess it's better late than never. It's better late than never.
So this is a kind of a Danish squad here on Tegridy Damp. Why Method are running the Rogue Mage Priest? I think, oh, they stopped the gateway here. This is huge. They're going to get a huge opener here, potentially right away. Waz is still not using his stun here onto Warwick. They got a sheep onto Zot into a mind control. They're waiting to land something onto Knobbers. They're waiting for this Iron Mark before Waz commits any of his stun lock. So we're going to probably see a fear onto Zot, into a stun on Warwick's and Knobbers, into a sheep or a Ring of Frost on Knobbers, something like that. As soon as they pull the trigger, Knobbers try to Iron Mark. Here comes the kidney shot. Okay, look at Knobbers. All right, so what I was going to say at the start of this game was, I think one of the absolute best things you can do to kill a Warlock is to play Fire Mage and a melee. You either play Rogue or you play Windwalker because they have the best uptime. And yeah, that was a perfect actually response to Knobbers' preemptive Iron Mark there. Just drop the smoke bomb and go for a big one shot. And of course, again, the portal on one side and Knobbers on the opposite side as well. Definitely unfortunate for Warwick. You know, the team that was seeded number 2 going into this circuit, the team that is the reigning BlizzCon champions. Well, oh, nice, they get to stop again on the gateway here, but these guys, they need to pick up their first win, and they're looking to do it right now here against Tegridy Damp. Let's see, Warwick, once again, no gateway. He has his demonic circle there next to Zot, so he needs to play in range of that. Now he's going to go for another gateway. He gets kidney shot. There's a smoke bomb. Where's the crack control onto Knobbers? Waz gets stand up. He doesn't want to trinket out of any of that CC there. They don't actually net too much. They get the trinket of Warwick here, but they didn't actually commit any damage. So Warwick is in a big troublesome situation here. The next time he gets caught up in a kidney shot, I don't know what he's going to do. Waz is actually on him right now. If he just stuns him, it could be game. He's trying to jump, shadow step to him. Look at Waz just jumping around here, just trying to he does a shadowy duel. There it is. Shadowy duel comes in, and he's going to take him down.
What?
3-0.
Look at Waz. He's so happy.
Look at Knobbers.
He made him look like paper. It literally made him like, I thought Ret Warrior was scary. I thought Ret Warrior was scary for Walrick to take damage from, but it seems like any second of that game, Walrick is just dead. Just what is he wearing gear? Did he equip gear?
But he didn't have a gateway.
I can double check.
I'm pretty sure he was wearing gear, but he didn't get a gateway. They stunned him with a smoke bomb, the same thing they did in that first game. This time around, Warwick immediately panics, trinkets, starts trading cooldowns. Knobbers as well. So Waz is just like, okay, I'm going to sit this Rex down. I'm going to sit this Sphere. But I still have my blades. I still have my Shadowy Duel. And my Mage still has that combustion. And you can see here, Warwick, no trinket. Knobbers already using his Iron Bark, which means this is a perfect situation. If Waz can just connect here, he's going to shadow step 2 Knobbers to get to Warwick. Warwick's going to take the gateway. And look at Waz, you're trying to jump and land the shadow step from stealth. Warwick's kind of lucky, but there finally Waz connects. Sheep shot, shadowy duel, and he pops his Battle Master. He pops his unending resolve, but it doesn't matter when you have cold blood. You have a full energy bar, and your target is on like 10% HP. So Waz able to close that one out there with the shadowy duel, and with the help of Tessia.
You're not going to even like, scrub the dirt off the riot shield.
Come
on a
on,
Demon
they're
Hunter.
not that
That
bad.
is so over the top.
I'm
They're
not
not that-
going to stand here for this Demon Hunter slander, sir.
Oh, I see how it
All right, here we go. Big damage. Jamie and Houston looking to get aggressive early on, but it's shut down. And Jamie's just dead. He's almost dead immediately. Is he going to be able to survive? He might actually go down in the opener. Super unfortunate
What
here over onto
is
Livin.
happening?
Jamie getting absolutely crushed. Big chain harvest, and finally, Last Wave Bros getting a little bit of momentum out, but they traded out everything. It's literally every cooldown that they have, and Jamie is just barely surviving. This next attack from Reload Esports could just be the game. However, I mean, a Windwalker Monk and a Enhancement Shaman, there's a lot of burst potential here for Valet. Valet's going to have to hold on! They delete him! They delete him!
The wild
That's what I was
card! The wild card!
Valet throws so badly. You just had to survive a little bit longer, and you automatically
Hey,
win.
you disrespect. You know, you're gonna get dropped. Like we were
It's so
laughing
funny.
about it, thinking that Jamie
Dude,
was
I
gonna
wish-
die in 5 seconds, but
No, we were, but here's the thing. I swear, as I said, all Valet has to do is just survive this incoming one-shot, and he didn't.
he didn't.
It's every cool down. Well, I
All right.
lost to that composition, okay?
Well, let's see what Blast Wave Bros can do here. Now we've got Jamie on the healer for Blast Wave Bros. Very serious game here. Look at their faces. They are taking, regardless of what's going on, they definitely are going to be putting their best foot forward here. Reload Esports versus Blast Wave Bros. Reload Esports on match point.
okay,
All right,
let's see what they can get done. Jamie, Holy Paladin. We've trialed everyone on the team at Blast Wave Bros to be the Ratapai replacement. So far, Livin was the only player to get a win, so he's definitely the top contender at the moment to be the healer for this team moving forward for the rest of the circuit. But Jamie wants a shot. Valet is pushing out into midfield. Houston's gonna charge in, get onto the Shadow Priest. Livin's moving in, fireball position. Jamie's moving forward. Double stun paralyzed. Good setup. I mean, really clean setup by Houston right there. They get a dispersion.
Yeah, nicely done. Mercy. Actually, Houston getting absolutely deleted. Has to trade out his trinket, his karma, and his diffuse. Super vulnerable target on that Windwalker Monk. And let's see how he handles the pressure. That was a sacrifice from Jamie. And Houston just dying anyways. This game could just be over in around 1 minute. Fists of Fury just doing everything he can to survive. Using Flying Serpent Kick to escape. Rolling back in. And now with no mobility, definitely going to be under pressure here. Decent damage here onto Valet. Let's see if Livin can go and get some crowd control. It looks like Jamie will be pushing forward to get a diminishing return blinding light, which is immediately mass dispelled there by Valet. Valet doing a good job freeing his healer from crowd control. Houston on the run. Flying Serpent Kick. Does he have a Transcendence? He does across the entire map. Vivify spam. I think Houston's going to be able to stabilize himself. Jamie reconnects, but this has not been comfortable for this Windwalker Monk.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's still a lot of threats remaining here on the side of Reload Esports. Lontar has that Sky Fury Totem, and Valet right now also in Void form, doing a lot of damage. Here comes the Kyrian Spear, here comes the damage, double leg sweep. Valet is going to use his Trinket right there. Trinket out of that one, Living with Combustion rolling here as well. Pretty fair exchange. Now the leftover damage being used on Mercy. He's taking quite a beating there from those Pyroblasts, but he should be able to recover there, not having to spend any real cooldowns. And now once again, there's just a hit and run strategy. Lontar gets polymorphed, a triple VR polymorph. Livin is just behind the enemy lines by himself, but he's going to be the only target they can go after. Mercy's going to use that Stormbolt. There comes the Sharpened Blade. Here comes the damage over time effects. Jamie with Blessing of Protection to remove the Stormbolt right there. And Houston, though, on this Windwalker, he's playing it pretty well, actually. He's just staying behind the pillar, waiting for leg sweep, goes out, does damage, and then just comes back in. And he's just focused 100% on surviving. Reload Esports realizing that, trying to target Mercy a little bit more, and now they're playing on the same pillar as the Blast Wave Bros.
Well, let's see if they can go toe-to-toe here. They're trying to stay on Houston. Stormbolt, connection, big damage. Sphere Bastion, Karma trades, leg sweep reverse, blinding light on Lontar. Not enough damage, it looks like, though. Even the combustion. Livin actually blocks a fear into a stun. Livin is so sad right now as a mage player when you're. What? Does it matter? It didn't matter. It didn't matter. He blocked into a stun. Still gets every cooldown but the kitchen sink. They can even maybe swap to Lontar here. They're just powering down Valet. Who is this? Is this Method NA Windwalker Mage? What's happening right now? The whole team is just dead. They're barely starting to recover. They're barely pulling themselves together. Good recovery by Jamie here. They still have damage on Lone Tar. Valet is down to half. Swen is out. Swen is out! Lone Tar's in a Dragon's Breath. Is he actually going to go down here? Full poly where Valet's interrupted. That's it! They're so close. They're so close. Not close enough.
That was unbelievable. Blastwave Bros really making Reload Esports work for this one. Lone Tar tops off Valet. They need to try to find some more damage onto Houston, but he's got cooldowns. Jamie's mana not doing super great, so I don't know if they can continue this. And at the same time, Livin going to be a great target. Storm bolted, no ice block. Remember, he traded it out to get that effective combustion, and they were able to get a lot of momentum and pressure with it, but that's a lot of defense to exchange, and I think Livin's going to get absolutely punished for it. Still just barely holding on. Cauterized procs. That was a divine shield from Jamie, and I think if Reload Esports, they just go after Livin at this point forward, I think things are going to be looking pretty good for them.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for Livin right now, I don't know how he's going to be able to survive. Jamie has no cooldowns left and no mana left. Jamie in a full fear, Livin in a full Stormbolt. That's just going to be it. Look at Lone Tar charging up the Lava Burst. We've seen this movie before. Livin, is he going to become a scene? Jamie's channeling out the only line. He connects it. Beautiful damage here. Living now. Mercy now.
He's alive.
Snow, but Living still trying to survive. Gets a full sheep here onto Lone Tar. Lone Tar has his trinket, but he doesn't want to use it. Jamie is ready as well with the Hammer of Justice. There it is. Living now.
Lone Tar!
Hammer of Justice onto Lone Tar, trying to solo him with Jamie. There's a blinding light just for a little bit of extra damage there. Definitely not on the same page there. The Druid, the Mage, and the Paladin. Delay though, still taking quite a lot of damage here. Houston has all of his defensives, so he needs to be the one aggressive here. Livin needs to be the one just staying back, trying to get his combustion back. Jamie sitting up for a drink, but forced to stand up there. Goes for the Dispel. Lone Tar with another Lava Burst combo. There's the sacrifice now being traded out onto Livin, but that's going to be a
Valet's dead!
He's almost dead. No dispersion. What is he going to do? Lone Tar, how does he keep him alive? He has no spirit. Like, he has no emergency cooldowns as well. There's no void shift. If they can get something, they can't spell Lone Tar. He's a full sheep. Lone Tar actually gets broken by the Zwen. It's rooted right next to him. It breaks another sheep. So unfortunate there. If you are Livin, he worked so hard to get those polys, and they just break there from Houston. And now I don't know how Livin is going to be able to survive here, Sid.
I mean, he's just running laps with Jamie, trying to pick himself back up. Dragon's Breath on the Warrior into a poly, stalling. That's all they can do right now. They're going to proc the pod. Are they going to drop it too? There's nothing really to save it. Spirit Bastion down on the seed, and they crack it. But in the meantime, Valet might die in a cross kill. This would be unbelievable. He's interrupted at the moment. Lone Tar in a stun. No follow-up. Lone Tar gets the Spirit Link Totem. But I mean, if you're Reload Esports, you don't even want that to be close. And yet that was such a tough fight for them.
That was actually unbelievable. I feel like when we look at the scoreboard, Houston stepped up on that Windwalker monk. He was able to put out a ton of pressure on Valet. There was multiple moments in the match where Valet went sub 10% health. And I mean, at that point, if Houston was able to use his Touch of Death, it was just a moment away, a global away from closing out the game. So really, really uncomfortable. This series, I cannot believe how close these games were. Reload Esports, they win it, but I feel like this is a small victory for Blastwave Bros. And I know I've said that before and you guys made fun of me, but I really feel like Blastwave Bros, they figured out a composition they could run in these series.
You're going to develop pressure on Whiskey, but if you're going for a Peekaboo, for example, you need to make sure that Whiskey is also cross crowd controlled, or that he's at least, that you have a counter spell for his Master Spell, and you have a way to stop his healing. Here we go, first setup of the game. Hammer of Justice, they don't land the Ring of Frost. Zach is actually getting stunned here. They have a silence. They have a silence to follow it up as well. Flormat though with a nice alter time. Both teams so far surviving the opener without having to trade a lot. Absturge trinketing out of the blind here. So Absturge is also a swappable target for sure. Anytime they have that combustion, they can Hammer of Justice, kidney shot Absturge as well and swap to him. So Hamsters and Hares, they have some opportunity here, but now it's going to be a blind onto Zach, which he's going to trinket. And there's a good pressure from the Golden Guardians onto Zach as well as Floorman.
I think they want to set up a swap to Absturge. They're waiting for that Earthen Wall Totem. As Absturge ready, pre-astral shifts, all the defense is down. They counterspell him. That could be lights out. He goes for an Ascendance, a desperation play, trying to stabilize with WizK's assistance. They go for an aggressive Blessing of Protection. They're all in on Absturge. Is Absturge going to fall? He survives the smoke bomb for a couple more seconds. Is he going to get the link off? He's trying to go for some Spirit Walkers. Grace heals, getting a lot of big healing surges, a healing rain onto the whole team to dispel crowd control. Nice Psychic Scream. Perfect turnaround opportunity for the Golden Guardians. They get evasion from Roasties. potentially getting a kill. Zach is still stunned up. They're swapping back to WizK. WizK's going to fade, but Roasties is just dying to Peekaboo at the moment. Peekaboo goes for the kill. Zach blocks it with a sacrifice, but the damage is still sticking. It's not the ultimate sacrifice. That's it. It's over. Peekaboo rushes him down. Hamsters and Hares went for an aggressive play, an aggressive map, and it backfired. And now Golden Guardians are on match point.
The name of the game for them is just consistent setups. They need to land Hammer of Justice on cooldown. They need to land Polymorphs on cooldown. They need to develop pressure onto WizK. But with Hamsters' build, it's actually just adding in one extra thing that they have to keep in mind and that they have to play around. So I really like it.
Okay, let's see what they can get done here with that Healing Rain. They actually counterspelled the Healing Rain. Good counter, but no damage really to be found. It's actually Roasties that got peeled by Peekaboo. Mind Games, big fish by WizK, huge hit. Zach dispels it into a full blind, trinketing right away. Dragons with Poly on Peekaboo. Floormat is desperate. They're on match point here against the Golden Guardians. They're very low on health. Their Golden Guardians going to be able to close it out. They need to start recovering. They commit the Avenging Wrath, but they get silenced on it. Roasties has to vanish defensively. That's a big damage cooldown for an Assassination Rogue to have to trade out defensively. Golden Guardians are in an amazing position.
They really are, and I think going after Roasties in this matchup is such a huge improvement in strategy for the Golden Guardians. Going after Floormat, I just feel like he's just so durable, especially if Roasties can do whatever he wants. So Peekaboo committing his kidney shots on Roasties I think is really, really strong. He can get a little bit of residual damage on Floormat if he needs to, put interrupts on him, but I think the kidney shots on Roasties are super duper effective. WizK taking quite a bit of damage with a Polymorph on Absurge. Floormat going to be blinking in, shutting down the Master Spell with a Dragon's Breath, but not accomplishing too much. Now kidney shot on Roasties. He's forced to trade out his Trinket and the Cloak of Shadows and the evasion. He's got nothing, and it gets dropped. Golden Guardians with all-out aggression going after the Rogue. I mean, that strategy worked out beautifully, and they claim this series. They are 3-0 now in the circuit, and they are looking good.
Who could have guessed that this matchup was going to go 3-1 in favor of the Golden Guardians? Wow.
All right, well, let's see how this one goes. Game number 4, match point for Cloud9 between them and Charlotte Phoenix. Charlotte Phoenix is going to have to strike back. They're going to have to really put out some pressure in this one. Immediate Hammer of Justice onto Corlick, Stormbolt on Aang. Not the greatest start here. Warbanner does drop down. Nick trying to deny some of that follow-up crowd control, manages to do so. Corlick should be free. He needs to get some big heals out. Hammer of Justice onto Cubsy as they look to reverse the pressure. Corlick plays catch-up, entirely chopping off Aang, but he just gets bursted down once again. Snuts putting out so much pressure. At the same time, Wealthy Man getting interrupted. He's caught in the Spear of Bastion. Nick is all over on both these mages under fire. Corlick trades out the sacrifice, and Cloud9 get ahead.
That's going to be the Trinket sacrifice. Beautiful timing on the Fear of Snots. And now we got a full sheep here onto Corlick. Aang, what are you going to do here? Gets a couple of polymorphs onto Snots. Looks like he's going to be able to survive that situation right there. That was Wealthy Man's combust right there as well. Aang still dropping dangerously low. The blinding light is still there. Snots is all over him. Can they proc the cauterize? One more execute could do it. Snots gets 2 executes off, and they do proc the cauterize. Can they get the ice block as well? It's a 1%.
Oh, the seed!
Full counterspell snuck in onto Corlick.
Oh, saved by the light.
It's going to be a disaster. Do they have anything?
It's over.
It's not going to happen, and Aang is going to get absolutely crushed here on Ruins of Lordaeron. C9 takes it 3-1.
Oh, and you can see the disappointment on Aang's face. I mean, those guys, they did their absolute best. They really put themselves out there, but it is going to be a victory here for Cloud9.
Would it really be Ruins of Lordaeron if someone didn't die without blocking?
You guys can't see Sid's cam right now, but he is gleeful.
He's so proud of himself.
That was a good one, Sid. You know what? Since you did that, I'm going to make you walk us through this.
You make me walk you? You want me to walk me through Aang's
That's your reward.
misery right here?
Yep.
This is just
Yes.
this is just sad time for Aang. Like, it's such a stressful matchup. You got to deal with Snuts attacking you the whole game, play perfect kiting, try and fish in for polymorphs. Your healer's in a blinding light with no trinket. You're trying to do evasive maneuvers. Snuts is still just all over you. You can't get away from Snuts. Look at Aang, cauterized procs. He's trying to get away. He dips really low, and yeah, right here is where the block needed to come through. And it didn't, but the pressure was really on. They're on match points. This team has had a lot of things they've had to work through as well in terms of restructuring their team. So
Yeah.
my hope is that they just continue practicing and improving, because obviously they're fighting some of the most established players throughout the history of World of Warcraft for, I mean, half a decade and longer than that, maybe even a decade on Snuts and Chanimal. So I think this is a team that has potential still, and they were able to take wins off in the cup stage.
All right, well, let's see if they figure it out here. Game number 2, Spacestation Gaming looking to tie this one up here. Tiki switching off of that Holy Priest onto the Disc Priest. Is that going to be the ticket to tie this one up?
The ticket to tie this one up. Nice one.
Oh, that wasn't even on purpose. I
just
swear.
play it. Just
Oh,
play
no,
it.
you don't have to
Okay,
do this. Oh.
Sorry.
That was a...
Shocky.
Tiki might be the ticket here. They're going after it. Big damage coming out here. Triple DR stun coming out with the combustion from CMD and Aiden as well. But they only let themselves the pain suppression right there, so they don't get too many big cooldowns. Smexing now in big necro mode, looking for Aiden here, looking for CMD as well. They got a Stormbolt onto Oxygen, but they're not able to find a target. Aiden, early evasion, early evasive maneuvers from CMD as well with those blinks. And now I wonder, are they going to go after Chun or are they going to go after Tiki? It looks like they're going after Chun. There's the smoke bomb. Here comes the damage. But this time there is an intervene on Chun, and Chun is not going to have to even trade out the trinket. So nice shutdown there by Smexin. And this game is looking pretty good so far for Spacestation Gaming.
I want a shadowy duel on Smexin. If he even looks to go into battle stance, stun, shadowy duel, shadow blades, kill him 100-0 with no trinket. I really want to see that happen here. I think Smexin might be in battle stance right now. They're going to blind. There's the kidney shot. Where's the duel? They're not committing the duel just yet. Cold blood, big damage, no shadow blades. Maybe baiting cooldowns. They do bait the die by the sword. And they got Tiki's trinket. They could do it to either Tiki or Smexin at this point. I mean, this game should be in the bag. They've got combustion coming off cooldown. As long as they can just stay alive to the next stun lock. Almost anyone except Chun-Li. Just don't go after Chun-Li, and you've pretty much got a win here. Neither Smexin nor Tiki has a way to save themselves from that shadowy duel of the Subsea Rogue, and Aiden is just in stealth, waiting to find a target. Who's he going to go after? He's like a shark under the water. I can just hear the Jaws theme. Dun, 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 dun. And now the polymorph onto Tiki. Where is Aiden going to go? Is it going to be on Tiki?
Warbanner.
Oh, kill off the banner. They're trying to sap Chun-Li, I think. They got cheap shot. Chun-Li breaks out. Banish, fear. Who are they going to go after?
Oh,
Pick a target. There it is. It's Tiki.
Yeah.
The shark strikes.
All right. Well, like we said, we want to see OTK kind of rise to the occasion here. They're going to have to strike back. Method NA looking for absolute perfection, absolute domination. And look at Drake just looking calm, cool, collected. Sidu, I mean, you can tell the tension's on. I mean, OTK, have they? I don't think they've won yet. They haven't won a series so far in the circuit. So I feel like if they lose this, they're in a really rough spot to making that top 4. There was a ton on the line. They have to battle it back. They have to reverse sweep. And if they don't, their future is really uncertain here.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? We're seeing a lot of these top dogs struggle here in the round robin, but it's still a little bit early to say. There's still definitely a lot of hope here for OTK, and I mean, they could still bring it back in these mirrors here, but it's a tall order. They have the matchup. They have the individual skill on their players. They just need to play well as a team here. Can they do it? They get a big opener here, actually getting Ceralium's trinket and getting Brain's sacrifice there. Nice damage coming out from Samayam with
what?
Still dangerously low here, but a nice alter time is going to allow him to get back to full HP right there. So OTK gets the first cooldown here. They strike first.
All right, let's see if they can keep the momentum off of that. Sam interrupted here. Drake staying on target. Sam very far away from the fight, and Sidu is playing far away from Brain. I would imagine OTK are playing more cautiously here on match point. They don't want to take a huge risk here and potentially go down 0-3 in the circuit so far. It would definitely be stressful for them for overall trying to qualify to that top 4 spot. And Sidu looks like he's trying to slip around the corner, gets caught in a Dragon's Breath. That could be devastating. An Aura Mastery Polymorph. They're trying to go for the Cauterize here. Drake staying on target. Sam alters back, trying to avoid Drake. Drake trying to connect. Sam blinks once again, but Sidu still in Polymorph, connecting that Trinket Sacrifice just before the Hammer of Justice, but that's a swap to Sidu. He cannot afford to die without shielding if he needs to here. They protect him effectively. Sidu will be able to stabilize. He's now trying to chase down Brain. Brain gets out of there like, nope. I'm not opening up myself to crowd control. Sidu can't really catch up to him. He's trying to at the moment. Will Sidu be able to catch Brain? It's ring around the rosy between these two paladins. Sam catches Brain with a polymorph, but then they get intercepted in a double leg sweep. Sidu going to trade a Blessing of Protection to counteract that Zwen. I think it's a fair trade a fair trade, but Cerealium is just running laps away from Trill at the moment, and it's kind of the name of the game is both mages trying to avoid the Windwalkers, and they're both sitting in Polymorph at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly are. Cerealium literally mounting up. Brain sitting down for a drink. Method NA's on vacation right now. Trill mounting up as well, trying to get back to target. Blinding Light came in from Sea-Doo, not using it for crowd control. He actually defended himself from a Polymorph with that Blinding Light. Not ideal, but they get the setup here. Brain into a Ring of Frost. Cerealium on the back foot. Can they get any cooldowns? They need to get a Cauterize. They need to get an Ice Block, and I don't know if they're going to be able to. Now Drake all over Sam, trying to reverse the pressure, but OTK, they've definitely been holding their own. This one could come down to mana, though, and I feel like Method NA kind of realizing that. A huge hit on Cerealium. Sacrifice trades. I was saying Method NA kind of realizing this could come down to mana. Look at Brain. He has a huge lead over Sea-Doo.
Yeah, and that's because he sat down and drank. And I just got to say, Cerealium's been doing such a good job this game kiting, and now he's getting the crowd control, full Ring of Frost onto Sea-Doo. They need to get a sheep or something onto Trill. He's just spamming out the Vivifies. Big damage onto Samayam. Brain is there now for the follow-up Blinding Light. There's the Dragon's Breath onto Trill. Sheep onto Sea-Doo out of the Blinding Light. Do they have the damage? Drake is in that Serenity, but he gets crowd controlled on it, trying to reconnect to the target. He wants to press that Rising Sun kick and that Fist of Fury so bad, but now he's going to get caught up in that leg sweep there by a Trill, and that's going to be a Blessing of Protection there being traded out onto Cerealium. Brain now in a crowd control, and look at Sea-Doo. He's sitting down for a drink here on that same pillar, trying to equalize that mana disadvantage. Cerealium now moving in, trying to sheep Sea-Doo here, but Sea-Doo ducking around the corner, still able to dodge it. Big damage here onto Samayam. Klepto comes out there on the combustion of Cerealium, so not a whole lot of value there, but there was decent pressure coming out there from Cerealium. And like you guys already mentioned, this is a much more even game. Method NA, I mean, they have the 11-0 streak right now, but this could be OTK actually taking one.
Can OTK break the streak? Method NA look to perfect the North American region. They have not dropped a game yet so far in circuit play. This is OTK's last chance. If they lose here, I mean, it's looking grim for their qualifications. They need to break that streak. They need to keep their dreams alive. And at the moment, they've been putting up a fight. We've got Cerealium taking some damage. Sea-Doo's chasing down Brain. Blinding Light. Double crowd control. Triple crowd control. Beautiful setup here by OTK. Cerealium trying to avoid the engagement. Kiting away from Trill and waiting for Brain to get out of Polymorph. Popping those mirror images. Trying to reduce damage. Polymorphing Trill. Good defense by Cerealium. Stalling and buying time. Brain's now out. And should be able to stabilize. He gets an Awakening proc. That's perfect timing for Brain. He's going to heal the whole team back full. Now Sam in trouble on the run, potentially burning down in that Cauterize as a full Polymorph has been secured. How are they going to respond here? Is it going to be a caught block? What are they going to trade? They need to make a trade. Sea-Doo is going to use Divine Shield and Sacrifice, valuing the mage cooldowns. Now Sam tries to turn it around, but Brain is just healing through this pressure with Avenging Wrath, even though Cerealium's dipping low here. Divine Favor should stabilize Cerealium. Big heal comes in. Mana slightly in favor of Sea-Doo, but their cooldowns are starting to become limited. They could even swap the Sea-Doo. Brain's charging in. Sam's still the target for now. Drake Flying Serpent kicks over. Cerealium baiting Trill really far away from Sea-Doo, likely for a Dragon's Breath sheep here. He alters back to full health. Beautiful positioning by Cerealium here. Dragon's Breath over onto Trill. Brain into Hammer of Justice. Cerealium could be in trouble. No mirror images, no alter time. Can he stay on target? Trill's just pounding away with that spinning crane kick, stunning up Brain for a moment to try and catch him with the Ring of Frost, not able to find the catch. Cerealium's taking a ton of damage. Brain goes for Divine Favor, gets caught on a Polymorph. Good opportunity for OTK here to get a cooldown. Which cooldown is Method NA going to trade? If they don't get a cooldown here, that's devastating. Ring of Frost for follow-up. Sam's actually on the back foot. Despite all the crowd control of OTK, Sam is now the one who could be in trouble.
Nice double Blinding Light from Brain. Sea-Doo gets caught into a Hammer of Justice on his Trinket, and Samayam, this could be the Cauterize, but he does manage to hold on. The damage just isn't there. Samayam gets control of Drake, but still, this is the Zwen. Samayam cannot be feeling stable. Sea-Doo's going to have to heal him. Big damage incoming. Trill at the same time trying to reverse the pressure here onto Cerealium. Need crowd control on the Paladins, but Sea-Doo has no break. Samayam on the run. Big spinning crane kick onto Sam. Gets taken down and topped off. He's looking like a yo-yo. Hammer of Justice now onto Cerealium as he is trying to escape. He needs to be very careful. Brain has the Trinket, or he has the Divine Shield sacrifice if he needs it. I can't believe they didn't get the Cauterize. A bit unlucky there. Cerealium dips down to literally 1% health. Now Sam forced to run. He's in a leg sweep. That is the Ice Block. Luckily, it wasn't the Cauterize and the Ice Block, so still a little bit of defense, but I would say OTK is on the back foot heavily.
Yeah, well, the one thing that they have in their favor is that mana of Brain. If Brain is trying to sneak away for a drink, but too much pressure right now. Australia, big damage coming out from Trill with that Serenity, with that Zwen the Tiger as well. Now the root on Zwen is going to end, and Australia could be in a lot of trouble here. Big heal there from Brain with that Divine Favor. Nice crowd control here onto Trill. No dispels available. Drake is all over Samayam here as well. Both of these Windwalkers, it's going to come down to who gets more uptime here. Soralium now caught up in a beautiful leg sweep. That's got to be the Ice Block. He procs the Cauterize.
Caught and blocked.
It's overlap there with the Ice Block. So now it's not looking too good here for Method NA. Finally, OTK find themselves in a situation where they might actually be able to get a win here, but CDs in favor of Method NA. They need to end the game right now. Full polymorph, nothing left for Samayam. They only have the Cauterize to rely on. Samayam trinkets the leg sweep here. They get another polymorph up to Cedar. Do they have any more crowd control? It doesn't look like it. Cedar's now going to come out of that crowd control. He gets the Avenging proc, and he gets a big heal onto Samayam. Brain completely tapped on mana, and I think this game might actually be going for OTK here, Sid.
The perfect streak could be broken right here. No mana left on Brain. Trill is going to town with that Fist of Fury on Soralium. Blazing Barrier comes in. He's trying to stabilize. Sidu's almost out of mana as well. This could be a cross kill. Potentially both mages going down, and we go into a 2 versus 2.
Right.
There's nothing left in the tank here. Brain is sitting down for a drink. How much mana will Brain get? Brain gets 1 tick. That might be more than enough to keep healing, but now he's in a leg sweep. Where's the Divine Shield? Just break out of the crowd control. They're going to proc the seed. They're looking to break this streak. Can OTK do it? They've done it. They've broken the streak. Putting a point on the board here, but they need to win 2 more.
Wow, OTK, they strike back. What a game that was. And I mean, they just had to believe in themselves and really step up. I mean, backs against the wall. They battle it back. They give Method NA their first loss. No perfection for them, but I mean, the game really does not get closer than that. But seriously, you have to give it up to OTK. Beating Method NA at their own game, at least for 1 game. But this is the scary thing, is Method NA, they now have the option of map as well as composition pick. And